Perseverance is a virtue. Where there's a will, there's almost always a way. Not long ago I made a video about a successful bow drill kit where I cut the spindle and the fireboard from a single length of honeysuckle. That worked out so well that I thought maybe I could do the same thing with goldenrod. I've got a collection of fairly good sized goldenrod stalks that I keep down in my basement. Most of them are somewhere between 3/8 of an inch and maybe 7/16 of an inch in diameter. I picked one of the bigger ones, and what I did was I cut myself 2 spindles and 3 fireboards to see if I could make myself a bow drill kit. Here are the 2 spindles. You can see that the one here on the top I've used quite a bit in my practicing. The other one is untouched. Each of them are maybe 6 inches long or so. Well, this one's about 5 inches long now. Here is 2 of the 3 fireboards that I cut. One of the fireboards I completely wore out and I've now discarded it. You can see that I carved flats on both sides to keep them from rolling around when I was bowing. And each of these, I guess, are maybe 5 or 6 inches long themselves. As you might imagine, working with such skinny materials presents a few challenges. The first challenge was to keep the spindle balanced in the fireboard as I was burning it in and drilling and trying to make an ember. But that was easy enough to overcome with just some patient practice. After a few tries, I had that nailed. The bigger problem had to do with my fireboard breaking. Goldenrod is hollow, a lot like honeysuckle, and every single time that I would drill down and hit that pith center, the fireboard would break on me. You can see the crack there in the back. You can see the crack from the side. And like I mentioned earlier, I started with 3 fireboards, and one of them I just completely wore out. And every time I got past the burn in and I was going for an ember, as soon as I hit that pith center, the fireboard broke. Every single time. It was so frustrating to me that I just gave up. I threw the kit in my kindling pile and I just walked away. After a day or so, my conscience got the better of me. It's just not like me to give up. So I went over to my kindling box and retrieved all the surviving pieces of my goldenrod kit and laid them on my workbench, and I stared at them for a while, wondering what I was going to do. And then it occurred to me to maybe try something that I'd seen other people do in other videos, but I'd never tried myself. What I did was I tied those 2 fireboards together to make a compound fireboard. And what I then did was I drilled in between them, something like that. And when you know, I got an ember on my very first try, and I've gotten 3 embers since. You can see that I kind of carved a little wedge on the end between the 2 fireboards, and so the ember would fall between the 2 of them and spill out the end. Like I said, that did the trick. It worked great. Just needed to tie my 2 fireboards together and make a compound fireboard. Before I set up and do a little demo for you, there's one more thing that I'd like to share. I didn't carve and burn in a divot in the usual way. What I did was I took another little scrap piece of goldenrod and laid it between the two pieces of my compound fireboard. And when I'm getting ready to drill, I stand on all 3 of these pieces and I angle my spindle in kind of like that, and I drill at an angle pressed up against this top piece until I start getting good smoke and I'm starting to work in a divot, and then I square up my spindle to the compound fireboard and drill downwards until I can get an ember. So far that has worked really well. All right, folks, it's time to go set up and do a little demo. Stay tuned. Alright, let's create and burn in a little divot. I've created a little wedge between the ends of my two fireboard pieces, and I'm using my foot-long honeysuckle bow today and a granite thunderhead. Alright. Kind of angle it in. Go slow and gentle. All right, got some smoke. Okay. That's the burn in. To go for the ember, I'm gonna remove this little top piece. I don't need it anymore. Throw it over there out of the way. Considering the small size of my materials, that's a big ember. There we go, folks. I sure am glad I didn't quit. Patience, perseverance, and practice are your friends. That's all for this one, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next time. Fun fact, 30 years ago today, some friends of mine and I went out after work and got a couple of beers. We were celebrating my 30th birthday.